Hi, it's Laura at Home Reading 18 Tarot and Books. Thanks for stopping by my channel today and Happy New Year. I am here with the end of year tarot tag, which is started by Chanel over at Spirited Stardust. I will link Chanel's original video in the description box below. This is, as the name of the tag suggests, a opportunity to kind of look back at our 2023 and our tarot practice throughout the year, our tarot collection throughout the year, and share some favorites. And I really like tags like this because I just like seeing folks on TarotTube talk about things that they love. So, I was happy to film this one and put it up for New Year's Eve. Without further ado, prompt number one is the deck that you used most in the year. Now, I'm making a guess here. I didn't go back and kind of tally every single reading I did, but I'm going to guess that the deck that I used most this year is Le Tarot Ultraviolet. This is a deck that I got fairly early in the year. This arrived to me in March of 2023, and I used this pretty much nonstop through the entire kind of spring and summer. So this deck got a lot of use. It has a lot of things that I love about it. It's colorful. It has what have to be some of my favorite court cards of all time. It's inclusive and it's queer and it's a little bit pippish, but not completely so. Pips with feeling. We know I love pips with feeling. So this one, I think, is the deck that I would have used the most this year. It was my daily draw deck for quite a while, and I did lots of other readings with it as well. So Le Tarot Ultraviolet is the deck that I used the most. Now, prompt number two is a deck you didn't use at all. And this was hard for me to think about because I tend to use my decks at least once a year. I don't have so many decks that is not possible. I do tend to use my decks pretty consistently. Obviously, some a lot more than others, but anyway. Um, so this is a bit of a cheat. I'll be honest, this is a bit of a cheat because the deck that I know that I didn't use at all is a fairly recent acquisition for me, and that is Le Tarot des Paysages Intérieurs, or the Tarot of Inner Landscapes, and I still have it in order. So this arrived to me late in the year, and I'm still kind of thinking about what exactly to do with a deep dive of this deck, because I do want to do a tarot deep dive and, maybe make another tarot deep dive video with this deck. But it is a deck that it is designed to be read completely intuitively. There is no book. The instruction card that comes with the deck says, that this is a deck to be read completely intuitively. So I'm figuring out what a deep dive of a deck with no guidebook might look like. I've been flipping through it and enjoying the artwork. It's very wintry, so it's one that I know I will get to soon, but it is the deck in my collection that I know I didn't use at all, other than to just kind of flip through it and look at the cards, but it has not been shuffled. So Le Tarot de Paysage Intérieur has not been used this year. The most recent addition to my collection. And now this I could have also put as a deck I haven't used at all because I really just got this this month in December. And it's one that's been on my wish list for quite some time. I've been kind of thinking about it and finally added to my collection, and I'm excited to get to know in the coming months. And that is the Tarot for the Great Outdoors. So this one is also still in order. And it's a really beautiful, colorful deck featuring all kinds of different outdoor activities, many activities that I enjoy. The majors are actually United States parks. So you can see the name. This one is Olympic National Park at the bottom there. on all of the majors. So this is the newest deck to my collection, and what's been holding me back, I've talked about it several times, what has been holding me back from getting this one is the fact that it is very thin. I'm I am not sure that this might not end up my first ever deck done with I think of it as called like backing paper, the clear stuff that you can coat the deck with to kind of laminate it in a way. Contact paper. That is what that is called. I think that this may be my first experience with contact paper because I'm nervous. But the art is beautiful and colorful and bright, and the backs are pretty, and I'm very happy to have added this as my most recent addition to my collection, Tarot for the Great Outdoors. The fourth question is a deck that you rehomed or put in purgatory. I don't have a purgatory. And the trauma of being raised Catholic means that I'm never going to have something called that in my house. Um, I have rehomed quite a few decks this year, I think 8 or 9, but I already made a video about this. I made a video recently about decks that I have rehomed and decks that I'm thinking about rehoming. So I will put that in the cards wherever they are. I think they'll be over here if you want to check that out. And I will move on from that prompt because I've already talked about it at so much length. Number 5 is favorite pairing. And I love pairing decks. I like to, see what decks get on with each other and how and what, looks good together and all that. And I know I'm far from alone there. And I found a favorite pairing this year. I did not have to think very hard about this at all. And that favorite pairing is the Lubanco Tarot and the Dark Side version of Open Portals playing cards. These, to me, look like they were made to go together. Even the backs, like, how amazing is this, right? And they get along well. I've used these for daily draws together. Lubanco is an intense deck for daily draws, I will say. But I have used them that way. I've put them in spreads together. This pairing to me, I don't know if it's, the shared black borders. There's definitely overlap in terms of the color palette or kind of the tones of the artwork. This this is the best. This is the best pairing. It is one of my favorite pairings that I've ever made, I think. Out of all the time that I've been pairing tarot and oracle together, this is one of my favorites. So, Lubanco and Open Portals playing cards. Lubanco is unfortunately out of print. Open Portals playing cards, I believe, is in print, just not the red-edged one, which was a Kickstarter thing from way back when. Number 6 is favorite mod or bag that I've made this year, or kind of any accessory that I have made this year. Uh, I did not do a single deck mod in 2023. I'm not much of a deck modifier, to be honest. I've kind of edged a handful of decks. I trimmed one that got damaged, but I'm not much of a deck modifier. My hands are not very steady, so I have a propensity to make a mess rather than making an improvement. So I'm fairly hesitant, particularly around anything that's more kind of intense than edging. Edging I feel pretty okay, but I don't do it very much because I'm not that bothered, honestly. I did make one thing that I can show you that is around here somewhere that is not very impressive. Where did I put it? My box. Okay. So the Tarot Ultraviolet came with a bag. It came with this drawstring printed bag, but I don't really like when the cards are in a bag and they're kind of unprotected. So I used a sticker and I made a box. The sticker that came with the deck. There's a devil sticker that came with the deck on the back. And this is a box designed by Sarah of Waterchild Tarot. She has videos explaining how to make a couple of different kinds of boxes. This is the tuck box design. So I did cut out a little quote about the deck here. This is from a kind of extra card that came with the tarot deck, and it's in French, and it's just talking about how this deck meets a need for a deck in French that is inclusive and that is also kind of focused on connecting with the cycles of nature. So I liked that. I put it there. I put some stickers. Again, it's very basic. This is pure function for me. I just don't want the cards to get bent by being in the bag by themselves. I didn't make any bags this year either. I have sewn my own drawstring bags, but other people make better bags than me, and I am happy to support a small business buying some tarot bags, so I did not make any. I did, however, make that box. Now, prompt number 7. What deck do you want for Christmas? Um, we celebrate solstice in my house. I'll say that. Um, I didn't put decks on a wish list. I do a small kind of gift exchange with my siblings and parents. My parents celebrate Christmas, but if a deck arrives to me for this season, it will be because I treated myself. We'll just say that. And I may well do that. And if I do, the decks that I would like are the decks created by Tishan of 9 coins that are on Make playing cards. So Tishan has a 9 coins oracle, and she also has an oracle, this kind of a space theme, like outer space theme. And I'm interested in both of these. So for a holiday gift, a post-solstice gift to myself, I would like 9 coins oracle decks. That is what I would like. Question number 8 is the deck that you would gift to others. And this is always interesting. I have gifted decks to people before, and it's always dependent on the person for me. Obviously, if someone has never read tarot before and is kind of interested in a first deck, that's a kind of particular sort of consideration versus if, you have a friend with an established tarot practice and you're considering giving that person a gift. So I kind of approach this thinking about, the person who is not into tarot yet but wants to be, and what I think might make a good first deck. And this one might surprise people. I don't know if it will or it won't. Maybe it won't, coming from me. The deck that I would gift to others is the Fyodor Pavlov Tarot. This is a beautiful, wonderfully well done deck in my mind. It is mass market, but it is definitely, you know, fancier than many mass market in terms of having the gilding. And I would gift this deck because it is um, it is good in its representation. I think the artwork is beautiful. I think it's just a beautiful deck to hold and to look at and to have and to cherish. Like it is a beautiful kind of art object. I think that, if it got somebody into tarot who then wanted to get into things like deck pairings, the color schemes of this deck do make it kind of go with a lot of other things. It's white Smith Waite in its influences, so it could go with a lot of learning resources that are keyed to kind of Smith Waite tradition. And the book is good. So, it comes with its own nice hardcover book, and I think that Fyodor did a beautiful job in that book of blending kind of personal perspectives and artistic choices in the deck with, perhaps more traditional kinds of card meanings. So I think that this would be a really nice deck to gift to others. Obviously, if the person wanting to learn tarot was like very, very, very young, this might not be the one that I would gift insofar as it is um, one that has a fair amount of nudity in it, but I don't hang out with a lot of kids, so I'm assuming I'm gifting a deck to an adult here, and this would be one that I would choose. Like I want people to have and love this deck, so that's that. Number 9, a deck that I fell in love with this year. This is another one that I did not have to think about because, in a fairly unexpected way, one deck has become the deck that I fell for this year. And people probably know what it is because I've been talking about it on my channel since it was very, very generously given to me. And that is the Tarot of the Crystal World by Brooke Penrose. This deck is just cool. And I think Brooke Penrose is really cool. He's got some other projects going on that I think are amazing as well in terms of a style. His style appeals to me. And this deck, Tarot for the Crystal World, is queer and it is, it definitely has some pop cultural aspects to it, but not kind of overwhelmingly so, such that somebody like me who's not super up on pop culture, I don't get confused by it. There's a little bit of a science fictional vibe, there's a little bit of a Western vibe. I did not know that I needed like a queer cowboy deck this much, but I am obsessed. I love reading with this deck. I, you much like Le Tarot Ultraviolet, when this arrived, it kind of eclipsed everything else. I didn't really want to use anything else. I put it away and then used something else once and then got this back out again. This is definitely one that will be a deep dive at some point for my channel, but it's just one that I love working with. And I know, I'd asked the creator if he intends on selling it. The Kickstarter's over and it's kind of not really available right now, and he had said yes. So I'm looking forward to, seeing this one get out in the world more. It's just so pretty, and the color palette is beautiful. The linen cardstock is beautiful. The oracle deck that it comes with is a small oracle deck is really fun. Tarot for the Crystal World, I am in love with. Number 10 is which card sums up this year as a whole. And I will have a look because I feel like I know what kind of a year it was for me. So I know what card that I would like to sum up the year with. And I should have gotten it out ahead of time. But of course I did not. That would have been too organized, right? I would have to say, oh my goodness, I am never going to find it because I'm looking for it. I will say that in terms of the kind of numerological um, calculation, using the birthday and the calendar year to find a card of the year, for that this year for 2023, I had the devil. And I don't feel like it was so much of a devil year. Like, I did not have this sexy of a year, not even in a little bit. I feel like there are aspects of a reading that I did for myself for a card of the year reading that definitely hold in terms of the devil. But if I had to pick a card to sum up my year, and I'm flipping through Fyodor Pavlov because it's what I've got here, but I'm thinking in a more generic terms than just this depiction in particular. I would say if I had to pick a card to sum up this year as a whole, for me, it it was kind of a Nine of Wands year. It was a year of one health thing after another. Um, for myself, for my household, even the pets a few times. It there was a whole lot of medical stuff in 2023. There were also periods that, thinking about the Nine of Wands more generally, there were periods of kind of very intensified work hours. My second job, that is normally kind of 5 hours a week, really ramped up for a while. And I knew that it was coming, but it was a lot. And so the reason I'm picking Nine of Wands is that I feel like 2023 was just like trying to keep it together, honestly. Just trying to keep it together. That was the kind of bar that I was aiming for, and that bar was not very high. Just get through. Just get through. And after one thing to get through, another thing would crop up, and it was kind of one thing after the other. Which is not to say that I did not have some great experiences this year. I did. I had, you know, a couple of great trips. I, had some great times with friends. Like, yes, there were some great things in 2023, but overall as a year, it just felt like an onslaught of one thing after another in my life that I just needed to stick it through. And here's to hoping that 2024 is not like that. So, Nine of Wands year. Question number 11, or prompt number 11, is to draw a card for the new year. So I'm going to shuffle Fyodor Pavlov and see what comes up. Now, I will say that this year, instead of doing the numerical thing and calculating, I decided to just draw a card. I draw a card for everything else, when it comes to my tarot practice. I was like, why not just draw a card for a card of the year? Ask, what is my card of the year, or what card do I need to spend time with this year, and see what comes up. And so that's what I did. And my personal card of the year that I drew is the World. And I drew from a Majors Only deck. I drew from the Mindscapes Tarot. And so I got the World card. So I will be exploring the World card in 2024. And this ends up, there's some interesting kind of synchronicity with this because, the World card is associated with Saturn. And I don't read tarot with correspondences in that kind of way, but the World card corresponds to Saturn. And Saturn is my Time Lord of the year, starting at my birthday, which is pretty early in the year. In terms of my, second house profection year in my birth chart, second house is Capricorn, and so then that takes us to Saturn. So getting a card that was associated with Saturn felt kind of interesting for that. Now, I will draw us a card in terms of what should we keep in mind as we shift into the new year. So I'm not drawing us a card of the year. You all can do that in whatever way works for you, but what should we keep in mind as we shift into this new calendar year of 2024? Just a New Year's message. The Emperor. Shit. The Emperor is a major that I struggle with, at times. Patriarchy and all that. But as something to keep in mind as we shift into the new year that the Emperor might remind us, I think that a lot of us at this time of year think a lot about kind of structure, insofar as we're thinking about, or I'm thinking about, things like resolutions and New Year's goals and New Year plans and, commitments that we want to make in the upcoming year. So I think the Emperor for me as a message going into the new year is to be mindful of that, right? Because the kinds of structure I think that the Emperor speaks to can be supportive, can be containers to do really good things within, do good work within, but also can be really restrictive and limiting. And sometimes, the kinds of um, resolutions that we come up with for ourselves at the very beginning of the year end up either not being viable or actually not turning out to be what we want to do as the year progresses. So, think critically as we go into 2024 about what kinds of structures and boundaries you're putting on yourself at this time, what kind of expectations you're putting yourself, through at this time, and, you know, think critically about that, I would say, is a good message from the Emperor for going into the new year, you know? Build those structures that are supportive to you, but not that feel um, restrictive in a harmful way for 2024. So I wish you all a happy new year. Thank you again to Chanel at Spirited Stardust for starting the tag. I will see you all in 2024. Bye.